Confession of a Field Asset. I am writing this because the file on me is probably already marked inactive, which is the polite word for disposable. If you're reading this, it means I finally accepted something I should have understood years ago. The most dangerous part of espionage isn't the guns, the gadgets, or the enemies. It's the quiet parts. The parts that look like ordinary life. And that's where the warnings begin. I wasn't recruited in a dark room by a mysterious figure. I was recruited in daylight, over coffee, by someone who seemed genuinely interested in my work. He knew my graduate thesis better than my advisor did. He knew my travel history, my language skills, my frustrations with being underpaid and overlooked. Warning number 1. If someone knows you too well too quickly, you are not being admired. You are being assessed. They did not ask me to spy. Not at first. They asked for opinions, public information, context, then introductions, then observations during conferences overseas. Nothing classified, nothing illegal. That's how it works. You don't cross a line. The line moves under your feet. By the time I realized I was inside the machine, my security clearance had increased, my travel had expanded, and my personal life had quietly become monitored. Which brings me to the second warning. If someone offers you secrets, assume they already have yours. The first time they showed me my own life on paper, I understood the power structure. My finances, my medical records, my father's bankruptcy from 10 years prior, photos from a private social media account I've forgotten existed. They weren't threatening me. They didn't have to. They just smiled and said, "We take care of our people." I believed them. For a while. Most people think spies live exciting lives. Exotic cities, dead drops, high-speed escapes. Here's the truth. Espionage is boredom punctuated by dread. You sit in hotel rooms waiting for encrypted messages that might ruin someone's career or their life. You attend dinners where every laugh is calculated. You make friends you know you are betraying. The worst part isn't lying. It's learning how easy it is. Then came the operation that ended me. I was assigned to observe a mid-level engineer. Nothing dramatic, no weapons programs, no grand conspiracy. Just someone with access to a system my handlers wanted insight into. I met him at a conference. He was ordinary, nervous, proud of his work, showed me pictures of his kids. 3 months later, based partly on information I helped collect, his clearance was revoked. His bank accounts were flagged, and his travel was restricted. Officially, it was risk mitigation. Unofficially, his life collapsed. I never saw him again. But I did see his name later, in a report labeled Psychological Degradation, Successful. That's when I learned the third warning. Modern espionage doesn't destroy countries first. It destroys individuals. Quietly, efficiently, without headlines. And if you think this world has nothing to do with you, I need you to understand something. The battlefield has changed. You don't need a badge or a foreign contact to become part of an intelligence operation. You just need a phone. Here's what I learned before I left. Your location history can map your routines better than surveillance teams ever could. Your online arguments reveal your fears, your anger, and what messages can influence you. Your data isn't valuable because of who you are. It's valuable because you're predictable. And predictability is a leverage. Not always for governments, sometimes for corporations, sometimes for criminal networks, sometimes for actors you will never know exist, which leads to the warning that still keeps me awake. Influence operations don't try to change your mind. They try to amplify what you already believe. I've seen fake grassroots movements built from bot networks. I've seen false stories planted, not to convince everyone, but to divide communities just enough to erode trust. I've seen real people unknowingly act as distribution channels for narratives designed overseas. No secret agents, just ordinary people sharing things that felt true. If you have ever said, "I'm just one person, what difference does it make?" That's exactly the assumption these operations rely on. The night I walked away, I wasn't running from enemies. I was running from my own reflection. Because the final truth, the one no recruitment officer tells you, is this: the most effective intelligence asset is the one who believes they're doing the right thing. Everyone in the system thinks they are protecting something: security, stability, their country, their family. That's how the machine keeps turning. I live quietly now. New name, different work, no travel alerts, no encrypted phones. But sometimes I still notice things. A stranger who asks slightly too many personal questions. An email that references a conversation I never typed. An advertisement that appears minutes after I mention something aloud. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's habit. Or maybe I just know how wide the net really is. So if this confession reaches you, remember this: guard your data like you would your house keys. Question information that makes you feel instantly angry or validated. Be cautious with strangers who seem unusually interested in your access, your work, or your frustrations. And never assume you're too ordinary to matter. Because in modern intelligence work, ordinary people are the infrastructure. And the scariest part? Most of them never know they're inside the operation. If anyone ever approaches you with an opportunity that feels flattering, secret, or just a little too convenient, ask yourself one question: why you? I didn't. And that's how I became a spy.